Yo, good day, and welcome to another episode of the RoadFS podcast, where every week we bring amazing guests to you to help impact your business. As you guys know, I'm Jody.
I'm Rod Pusey, and I'm in the COVID locker today in the back bedroom at an off-site location, tied up to a chair. So I picked up COVID last week, and I've been hanging out at my house. My kids are ready for me to go away. The dogs hate me, so yeah, it's time to get back on the saddle. But
Well, you sound
um,
a little better than yesterday, that's for sure. So,
yeah, well, I found this new solution. It's Mucinex and gin. You mix them together, and you just take it all at once, and it'll cure you.
hey, my
So.
grandma's was whiskey and honey. So,
Yep. So, as you guys all know, RoadFS podcast every week is sponsored by RoadFS software. Please go out and like and subscribe to our channel. We really need you guys to do that. Have everybody go. Everybody, your dog can subscribe. Whoever can subscribe would be helpful. It just keeps us going and keeps us getting awesome guests like today's guest.
yeah.
Appreciate you
So who
guys.
do we have, Rod? I mean, you and Jaden
Jayden,
connected,
yeah, we're
but
connected. And Jayden, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody where you're at and where you're from?
Well, my name's Jay. I'm right in Rough River Lake, Kentucky. You might not have heard about it. You might have heard of Nick's Boat Dock down the road. It's pretty famous. It seems like we go to other places around Kentucky and everybody has Nick's Boat Dock shirts. It's a pretty cool place to be. So, but yeah, we're right here. It's about an hour and a half from Louisville. So you might know where Louisville is. Everybody knows where Louisville
Yep,
is. So
we're in Louisville. Thank you, Sarah. We're in Louisville for the Southern Detailers Conference, and we've been down there. I've actually been down in Louisville and Lexington, and was down there this spring as well. So let's talk about.
so
There's a little
someone loves you, Jaden. You already have a fan
Brandon.
on
You got a
board.
fan
Brandon
club.
Johnson, good morning. Welcome to the podcast.
So
So
let's talk about, obviously you are, I mean, if you go from the screen here, you got Jody, he's the old guy. Then there's me, I'm the good-looking middle-aged guy, and then there's you, you're the young guy. So
I'm a
let's talk
youngster.
about,
you are so delusional. It's not even funny.
your business and where you're at, what you're doing in your business, and how you've got yourself to where you're at today.
So it really started from nothing. I mean, me and my girlfriend started the business together, and I just got tired of working for people. I wanted to do something big, and I didn't really know how to do it. So, I started working on farms. I worked at a car dealership doing just some, I guess you could call it detailing, but just cleanup. And I started from there, and I was like, I want to do something on my own and be my own boss. So I kind
Hmm.
of had some sort of expertise there to some extent. And I started with a garden hose. I think I had a pressure washer, maybe that barely ran, some like McGuire's soap, and a couple of different things. And that's just where we started. I mean, now we're about, I want to say professionally a year in, but 2 years we've been in all together, and it's taken a lot of work. So
Yeah, you
it's
got
taken a
quite
lot
a
of
few
work.
fans there.
No, man. It's
Somebody's
like,
talking about how good looking you are. I think she's mistaken me for you, but
well, that
um,
that for sure ain't it. So,
so I
Jaden,
think
let's talk about kind of the initial, the building process. Because I think a lot of times, especially when you're younger, right, you're trying to juggle finding new business, trying to juggle having a very limited budget. You're trying to figure out how to get your name out there. How did you work through that, and what did you learn along the way?
So I always kept really good mentors around, people that keep me in check. So I always had that going for me, and all the money, I mean, still today, we put right back in the business. So we don't really spend money on luxury things. We buy our necessities, and our plan is a long term goal. So I don't want to go out there and buy a brand new truck or, stuff like that. That really wouldn't be sufficient for right now. So we've only been in professionally for a year. So it's been a year since we've been making, decent money at it. But like I said, all the money goes back to it. So it really started from scratch. So it took a lot of learning and trial and error mistakes. So, and then I had feedback from other people and I just kept going at it.
So who are your mentors? Let's give them a shout out, because you and I were talking yesterday, and we have to give a mad shout out to one of your guys, and that is Billy Bogus.
That's right.
He's been very instrumental in your business. So we got to give a shout out to American Detail Garage. You know, they have that new ceramic coating. They have a phenomenal line of products. So how has Billy in particular really impacted you as a business owner and your business?
So Billy and James Ratliff both, but Billy, I mean, really, he's been doing this for 20 years. So he ran a production shop before. We use all of his products. And what really hit me off is I tried his products out and they're so versatile. I mean, I clean my shoes with like Wipeout and F-Bomb. So I mean, it's very versatile. It's easy to implement into, giving it to employees to teach them how to use things. So I was really looking for someone that's going to tell me straight up. He doesn't sugarcoat things. So one thing about Billy is he don't care what he says, and that's what I wanted.
Yep.
But he's a terrific guy.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I think you've got to find a mentor that fits in with your needs, and I think that's the hardest part for people. Is sometimes people need that straight, no bullshit, in your face talk, and sometimes they don't know they need that. And they'll end up going after the wrong crowd, or they'll get in the wrong group, and that's why I think we see some conflicts with people. But Billy is definitely, I would say that's the only way to describe Billy, is what you see is what you get. He doesn't have a fake bone in his body, and I love that about him. I mean, I really do. So you're down there in that neck of the woods. You're dealing with a lot of humidity, high dew point, that kind of sweltering, boiling heat that makes you rethink your entire life decision. So what is it about the products that you use, and how do you deal with that? Because I'm seeing a lot of that right now today on the internet. People are like, holy cow, how do I deal with this heat? How do I deal with this? Because I know that, and I've got some particular ones in the back of my head, that certain products in that kind of heat, they turn from a liquid to a powder real quick.
We've actually never really had that problem. With our shop here, it's really hot in the area. I'm in the AC now, so I kind of got it made, but you just got to cowboy up sometimes. But as far as products, I mean, we put on coatings almost daily. I mean, we're polishing, we're detailing, and we don't really ever have problems. We take our breaks every now and then, but we get at it and cowboy up. So,
but you're bringing
we
them
just got
inside
really lucky.
You bring them inside of an air conditioned shop, and you kind of let them acclimatize to that area.
We've got 2 fans, no AC in the actual detail part, but we have a wash bay and we have a detail room, so that way we're not really out in the weather as much, but it really does help a lot being in a big spacious area.
Yeah. Yep.
So as you've grown, you mentioned that you started it with your girlfriend, right? And
yeah.
On your website, it's very clear that you guys are a very strong team together. So let's talk about the dynamic of working with your girlfriend, but also bringing on team members and trying to build your business out of just, having a pressure washer at best to now having a team.
Exactly. So, when I first met her, I knew we just hit it off right off the bat. But we're together 24/7, but we adapted to each other. So now, like, she almost reads my mind. So if me and her go to detail a car together, she already knows what I'm doing. So I kind of do the same thing with my team. I wouldn't be anywhere without her and my team, and my other guys. So, like I said, just me and her just hit it off the bat, and we started this, every bit of it, together. She gets on me all the time, though, because we were at, when we first started, in our parents' driveway, and I would go inside occasionally and warm up, and she would just be out there working. So, but you just have to meet her. I seen you guys at the convention center. I didn't get to say hi. I had to take care of some customer things. But yeah, she's really a good one. A lot of people tell me to go ahead and put a ring on it, but we don't have time for it right now.
Well, there you go. So when you're talking about cowboying up, you're really talking about her because you go inside to warm up and she stays outside and work. So I got you. I know where we're at.
That's right. She's definitely a trooper.
Well, and I think that's everybody needs that partner, somebody to bounce things off of, and somebody. And a lot of times it's a business partner. A lot of times it's a spouse. There's a lot of really successful husband, wife, spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend type of relationships. There's other ones that people aren't. They're not, related in that way at all. And I think it's just a good idea for people to have those mentors. And that's whether that's a mentor that's at the business or outside of the business. And I know that there's a lot of people that, Billy Boggess has been a mentor for a lot of people. And you got other areas like people that will talk to Barry Teal or Rennie Doyle, or it just depends on what you're working on. Nathan Warren, as far as boats. I mean, if I had a problem with a boat, I would call. There's two people. I would call Nathan Warren, or I would call in Colorado the
Boat
boat
whisperer.
whisperer. And
That's right.
that's the thing is you gotta pick up those mentors. So when you first started this out, was this something? I mean, obviously you talked about the dealership and you were there. Did you just sort of bite the bullet and say, we're going to do this thing, or did you gradually go into it?
It really was. I left my job and I was like, it's either this or nothing. I was also when I was in high school, it was like online at the time from COVID.
Mm-hmm.
See, I didn't know COVID was still a thing, Rod. So the whole the
I
whole
think
online
he's milking
situation.
it. That's what I think. I think he's milking it. It's like,
Yeah,
I think
I
Houston.
mean, yeah, it took me 3.5 years to get it, but yeah, I'm not relaxing or anything.
Oh my!
I'm
You never got it
hold on,
before?
no, this is it. It took me 3.5 years. I'm a slow guy. There's a thick skull right here, so it took a long time to get it in there. But yeah, it's still a thing as far as people are going to get it, and it honestly it hasn't been that big of a deal for me. I just have been keeping myself here. There was maybe 1 or 2 days where I felt like I had a really bad flu, but
Hmm.
other than that, and normally I'm I'm that guy that just goes to work and does what I need to do. But in this case, I decided to stay home because Jody, he you don't want to get there. He's a pretty boy. He worries about how he looks, his hair, and all that stuff. So
you're just
you gotta,
jealous, man.
you gotta take care of him.
So,
Yeah.
so let's talk about one of the things that you seem to do really well is you have a really wide offering of services that you offer
Yes.
to your customers, boats, RVs, cars. How do you manage one, getting the skills that you need? And two, how do you manage the different things? Because that can be a very busy schedule.
It can. It's mostly since we're at a lake. I'm mostly in control of all the boats that get detailed and stuff. So, whether it's here or other companies around the lake, we have to take care of them. But, it started with trial and error. I didn't know all this going in, so I had to do my own research and a lot of hours. Cars and boats are, a lot different. So, when it comes to polishing, ceramic coating, that's mostly what we do. So, I really do enjoy it. But it's boats are big and they take a lot of time and a lot of frustration sometimes. So,
Well,
but
and I think that's an important thing to talk about is the difference between boats and cars. And even if you're talking about a boat versus a fiberglass car, they're not the same. A boat is gel coat, which
mhm,
the pigment is mixed into the gel coat. A car can be fiberglass, like a Corvette or some other cars. Even a camper shell on a pickup can be fiberglass, but then they paint it with a two-stage paint.
exactly.
So you're dealing with three different animals here. And I think that's hard for people to understand. They're like, it's a Corvette. It's the same as a boat. It's not. It's painted and then it's clear coated. The same with I'm doing a camper shell out here. It's got gel coat under it, but then they put paint and then they put clear coat on the top of it. So it's got different properties. You got to be different with it. It's not the same. And so how did you, through trial and error, did you, and I'm going to make you call yourself out here. How many times did you screw up on somebody's car, truck, or boat before you were like, yeah, that can't get that hot?
You might not believe this, but like honestly, with gel coat, it is like extremely hard to burn through. I've never burned through paint. I've never burned through on a boat, so I've got real lucky. We do some sanding work, whether it be boats, or I have Billy sand some cars for me, which we've done that, but that's a whole other story. It was a fiasco. But really, like I said, it was trial and error research. I talked to Nathan Warren several times about stuff, and just sitting down in the shop and just giving myself these options to be able to look. Let's try this way. Let's do it this way, and let's see what's best efficient. Because my job is to coach others. So I've got employees under me. I've got to train and give them a system that's going to be best for it. So there's a lot on the line for it.
Yeah, and I always tell people, and it's not that hard to believe because there's a lot of people out there that have never burned through. I have never burned through paint, um, polishing it. I've burned through paint on purpose. So I gave myself a goal of burning through to see what it felt like and see how much I had to go to burn through. And that's the only time I've ever burned through. Sanding, now that's a different story. I've completely effed up a paint job by sanding it. And that's
Oh yeah.
because of the same things that you would burn through. It's trying to get that perfection. It's like, no, I can go a little further, a little further, a little further. So, that's a totally different animal. We'll bring in Jason Kilmer. We'll talk about sanding at some point. But so with polishing and everything, when you're talking about a lake, what's the kind of the average size, shape, and color boat you're dealing with? Are you dealing with runabouts? Are you dealing with yachts? Or what are you dealing with?
Well, there isn't a yacht, but there is some houseboats, but we don't do any of them. We mostly see wake boats, tri-tunes, pontoons, runabouts. There's not really any speedboats down here, but it's a pretty laid back lake. Everybody almost knows everybody. So, if I do one guy's boat, then he has five other people he ties off to every weekend, and they talk, and I make friends with a lot of them. Everybody here is amazing. These people around Rough River Lake are really one of a kind. So it's like I said, it comes back to word of mouth. I get a lot of business just from word of mouth, just from that, because these people tie up and they talk and they see each other's boat and they're like, well, I want that done. Especially
Hmm.
with ceramic coating, when you have one guy that's going to have to go wax his boat every couple times versus the one guy that's taking a leaf blower to get all the water off. So it's really just about sufficiency, and that's what I aim for.
So do you have a preference on boat marine ceramic coating?
I really like the wake boats. I really love wake boats. So, they're more challenging. Pontoons are fun. They look amazing, but my thing is wake boats. I started working for a dealership. It's called TNT Water Sports. I've been working with them for, I think, like 16 months so far, and I take care of their detailing up there. And, I started, the first time I ever sanded a boat, first time I ever buffed a boat was like a brand new, you know, 2021 or 2022, Malibu. So, we work with stuff like that all the time. So it's really my pride and joy is working with, new boats and wake boats and stuff like that.
Yeah, I love working on a boat. Me and my boys, we were actually working on my Calabria a couple weeks ago. It had gotten a little pink, and so they've started a little detailing business. And so I'm like, all right, let's get out there on a Saturday. And we spent all day on that boat, and it just was fun, in part just working on a boat, but working with your boys, right? There's just for me, there was a lot of power in just being out there with my boys, and they were asking questions. We were working together. We were stepping back. Oh man, look, we put the ceramic coating. Look, there's a high spot. And my son rushes to get the applicator and reapplicate. No. Whoa. There's a process there. We got to let it set for a bit. So, having that
Exactly.
experience. So, as you've gone from, you and your girlfriend who's really doing all the work, and
Right.
bringing on employees, what's that been like, bringing on new team members?
So I've been through some, my mentors like Billy, he's taught me you got to learn how to fire them and hire them. So, I've had to go through some employees, and now I've got a perfect team that, I've got two guys under me. And I feel like if I work with a smaller team, it's so much better. And, I just implement what I learn to them. And we don't know everything. We're learning every single day. So we just play catch up with each other and we sit down and, but, we take it easy. we do our job right and we try to enjoy it. We're not going to rush, and we're going to take our time and do it right. So we're not running around like chickens, trying to figure out stuff. But, if you ask
Yeah.
them, I'm pretty laid back. If they have problems they need to address, and they can go do it. Or if they make mistakes, I'm fine with it. I might not be the best boss, but I'm learning. So I've been implementing, trying to be a better leader in the stuff I've been doing. So, but it really is
Yeah,
different having people under you.
Well, one
it
of the things
is.
that I want to go back to something that you said earlier. You talked about coaching, and now you just talked about being a boss, and you talked about being a leader. And
Exactly.
there in leadership, there's a time for all three of those.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Problem is that most business owners tend to be only one of those.
Hmm.
They tend to be the hammer, right? I'm the boss. You got to get this done. You're not here at 8 o'clock. What do you mean? It's 4:59 and you're ready to walk out the door, right? What are you talking? Get done, right? And then there's the leader that's going, look, this is how we do things. This is our vision. This is how we're serving the customers. And then the coach is a person that is side by side in the trenches going, all right, this is what you did wrong. This is how we can do it better. This is why we do this, right? And
Hmm.
I think it sounds like it's something that you're learning how to incorporate all three of those skills in Jay's detailing.
Yes. So I've got to learn how to be a leader and a coach and a friend and everything else all in one. But if I have a team I'm just treating them as my friend, we can't get anything done. So I try to
Right.
incorporate me being, I'm not going to get on to you for little things, but I want to give you a vision. And the guys I have now, they have a vision that fits mine. So I'm also your friend, but I'm also your boss and your leader and everything else. But I just try to set a better example. And I my goal is to make people off better than whenever I got them the first time. So if I can make their life better, pay them well, give them a good opportunity to move up. So my guys, if they do some big jobs, they get extra commission on it. You know what I mean? So if we
That's
work
awesome.
as a small team, yeah, I don't want to just cut them short, but they take care of me, so I take care of them. Is what like Billy and a couple other of my mentors have always put into my brain.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
and that's really that as you say, you're learning to be a leader. You're already there. That's what a leader does. A leader leads by example. He gets in, she gets in, gets your hands dirty. You're the first one there and the last one out. You're not worried about
yeah,
other people. There you go. Here's Mr. Kirk Evans is going to say what I was going to say.
there he is.
I love
Thank you,
Kirk.
Kirk. Appreciate you.
Yeah,
Yes,
let's
sir.
give Kirk a shout out because Kirk is one of the founding members and visionaries behind the detailers of the roundtable. And Rod and I are one of the founding members as well. We were invited to participate. And Rod and I, the last couple of weeks, we've had opportunity to sit in meetings and talk about this vision of creating a group that is a positive force for the industry, that is lifting people up, that's providing training, that's providing opportunities to tag team on projects, right? And just being positive, just a positive force. And I love Kirk's attitude because it's always like, what can I do to lift another detailer? And the first time I met Kirk, and sorry, I'm going on to a little adoration here, Kirk. So, but last year when I was at Nathan Warren's boat training, Nathan's going through all of this training, and I could tell by the questions that Kirk was asking, that he was leading the conversation. So he was very deferential and respectful that Nathan was the trainer of this course, but he was contributing in a way that was unoffensive. It was positive. It was bringing up questions that created a dialogue. And I really appreciate men and women who work in that way in the industry that help you elevate your business. So kudos, Kirk. And if you want to join the detailers of the round table, give us a shout. We'll connect you because it really is a great organization. We're excited to be a part of it, right? It's not replacing the IDA. It's in addition to the IDA and just another opportunity to really elevate your game as a business owner. And that really is the goal of us as a team, RoadFS, right? We've been around since 2009. I mean, Rod jokes about how old I am, and yes, I'm getting very gray, right? But what's interesting is that since 2009, when Rod and I started Zimware / RoadFS, and we brought RoadFS to the table. Man, the first 3-4 years, when we even talked about software, detailers are like, nah, that's not for me. I don't need that. I got my business. It works just great. Right now, we're good. Right. And it was this whole mentality of just shutting it down. And it's been really fun to be a part of that evolution of exposing people to business tools that help you manage a business, because a lot of detailers really get focused on their detail skills, which they should, right? That's a key part of the service that they offer. But a lot of businesses really struggle because they're great detailers, but they're not good businessmen and women, and they don't have systems in place, whether it's our system or other systems, or just the way that you do things to create efficiencies to make your business better. And so it's been really fun to kind of, go from 2009 to 2023 and see, especially younger guys and gals like you that are coming on board, and you're coming into it with the mindset of, how can I create a business? Yes, I'm interested in cars, but how do I create a business? So looking back, what are the things that you've learned along the way that you think would be helpful for other people as they grow their business?
So as far as skills, I mean, you just really got to get in the trenches, just like what you're saying. You've got to get you a mentor. You've got to, get you somebody that's going to show you different steps. So, like I had James Ratliff. He was obviously ahead of me. He's only an hour away, actually 45 minutes, but I'd drive up there and I would see the way he does things and I would just implement them into mine. It's not copying, you're learning. So, every business idea and everything that you do, you've got to, somewhat quote unquote copy somebody, because that's the only way to do it. You got to learn from other people. And the thing is, everybody, you can learn something new from everyone. So I've always opened my eyes, and, I had to shut up a couple of times and open my ears and just learn and then try it on my own. So that's really what helped me. So James, big shout out to James and Billy. Billy and James both showed me polishing techniques, different things like that. So there is some things you can find on YouTube. So I mean, just like if you want to repair your sink, you look it up on YouTube. So like there's always different avenues, and I really take advantage of this. Me being 19, I've always had technology at my hands all the time. You guys didn't. So now we have an amazing resource that I'm looking at right now, that if I want to know anything, I can go ahead and start by clicking a few buttons. So I take
Yep.
full advantage of it.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
So yeah, and Kirk put up a good comment there, Jody, about skills being only one piece of the puzzle. So I want to address part of that, and I think that part of the thing is that everybody's been talking about is you have to have skills in multiple areas to run a business. There's a lot of people out there that are arguably the best at fill in the blank, polishing, wheel repair, ceramic coating, PPF, glass, whatever. You're the best at that, right? But they lack in the other areas, and that's what'll bring a business down. You have to be well-rounded. So you can be great at detailing, but horrible at managing people. And so your shop is literally going to end up being just you. And so one of those things is to either outsource that, get a system in place, or mentor, like you said. I don't necessarily call it copying. It's just you're taking advantage of somebody that's already done the hard work to be the first. You cannot ever, I'm never going to be the first guy to have a ceramic coating. It's already been done. So no matter what I'm doing, I'm copying somebody. I can just learn my technique better. And that whether that's doing your SEO, or whether that's doing accounting, or whether that's doing employee management, always continue to learn. It sickens me that you're 19 years old, but other than that, no, I think it's a great path that you're on. The maturity that you speak of at 19 is very, very admirable, because a lot of people that are younger and older, but they get very cocky. They get in, they start making, like you said, real money, and all of a sudden they're super cocky about what they've got, and they're flaunting it all over. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with being proud of what you've got. And I'm not, that's fine. But people that are humble to their core and always want to have other people do better. That's the thing. It's really exciting as you grow in your business. Like Jody said, we've been around for 100 years, but we've watched people that have come in, that have gotten married, that have had kids, that have bought houses, that have bought new cars. Some of our employees have been here 10, 12 years with us. And yeah, there you go, Jody. Um, so the key is what Kurt calls low ego emissions. So
That's right.
the and I think you have that. You can just sense it from you and from the people that are making comments on here and everything. That is, I think, one of the key important secrets to business. People always say, what's the secret of doing a healthy business? It's staying humble. It's keeping yourself grounded, and part of that opens yourself up to education. It allows you to be more like, you see Jody's doing something and you're like, hey, how did you do that? What did that? And it allows you to do that. If you have a very cocky attitude and you're always thinking I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best, you have a tendency to block those opportunities out. And that is, I think, a real detriment to most businesses, because Jody and I, we always say it's adjusting the knobs or turning the dials or being able to pivot. Because if something new comes up, Jody and I yesterday were talking to two gentlemen, which is amazing that it was two in one day, but two gentlemen in one way that's going to pivot us to a different part of the industry. And it was such a natural thing for us to just go, and we're taking a left and go that way and pursue that. And that's what's kept us around since 2009 doing this, is the pivoting. If we wouldn't have, pivoted since 2009, holy cow, there's some stuff we were doing back then that you could just laugh at now, right? So,
That's awesome.
and detailing, there's somebody else popping in there, man. You got a fan club.
Yeah, it's good, man. So
Get both of those. We got to get Christians in there. So, but let's talk about this for just to get one below that too, Jody. You got to get him some new glasses.
no, I'm getting it. I'm just waiting for a
There's so
restream
many
to
of 'em.
show them.
So two things. One thing is, what's your girlfriend's name? Because I'm sick of calling her girlfriend.
Brianna, I call her Bree, but
All right,
she's I think
Brianna.
she's getting me Subway right now, so
Thank you,
she's a good
Brianna.
one.
Bree. There.
I'll get her on sometime.
Yep, there you go. When you're teachable, your growth is never ending. And I totally believe that, Kurt. That's one of the reasons that Jody and I are really excited about the details of the roundtable, is that everybody there's to learn. One of the main things, we had a meeting very beginning of this, and they're like, what do we want the accomplishments to be? And one of the things I said is, I don't want us to stop learning. As a leadership group in the industry, as far as software, or whether it's software or detailing or boat detailing or ceramic coating, you should always be open to learning new things and new techniques. And I take that as a real pride for me. People ask, what have you done and where have you been? And I can list off weird certifications and things that I've learned that I really am proud of, because I continued to learn. And it's interesting. My father's 80th birthday just happened yesterday. He just turned 80 on the 19th. And he's still out doing tons of stuff. He drives trucks and has a big RV and goes all over the place. And he's actually been kind of a mentor, but he's always been a kind of a hero of mine, because he has never stopped learning. When he was bored, and this is back before the internet, he actually would read encyclopedias. He would just sit down and open a volume of an
Jayden
encyclopedia
doesn't
and
know
read
what
it.
an encyclopedia is.
I think
Basically,
I've seen one once.
yeah, Google in paper form, but he would just read those and he would just learn stuff. When he's retired 2 or 3 times and he's always gone back to work. He retired once and he went and learned and took HVAC and became an apprentice HVAC tech, just because he wanted to know how it worked.
That's awesome.
So I look at that and I'm like, you never want to stop learning about things, because it's just a way to go forward, right? If somebody comes out with a new type of fill in the blank compound or wax or something, and I'm waiting for it. It's going to happen. We're going to see somebody that comes out with a ceramic coating like thing that is applied and then turns into a clear coat. that's literally a clear coat. Sand it, polish it, puts on 2 mils. We're going to see it because automotive manufacturers are crap. Their paint is 2 and 3 mils thick from the factory, and it's just junk. So we're going to see it happen. We're going to have to learn how to do that, and I'm looking forward to it because I think you could take a brand new truck, which when we were at the Southern Detailers Conference, we talked to Carlos. They took a brand new Chevy Silverado off the lot, 2023, and it was how many mils, Jody? Wasn't it 2 mils?
2.2.
Brand
Oh
new,
my gosh.
2.2 mils, brand new. I just did a 2007 Silverado that's mine that had never been polished, and it was 6.3 mils from the factory.
Wow.
That's from 07 to 2023. They've cut 4 mils off of that. That's ridiculous. So the innovations are going to keep coming. Companies like, you got the big green banner behind you there, and
That's right.
IGL. Billy Bogus is. I love
Yep.
Billy's attitude. He's not willing to put something out that isn't great, and so I think you're going to see companies continue to do that. And I'm really super excited for the future of detailing. I'm glad that there are guys your age that are turning this on its head, because it's a different mentality, man. And you guys are hustling and you're getting out there and you're doing it and you're making it super successful. And I think that's the future of it.
A big thing is you've seen Aegis and Eclipse, all the industrial solutions by
Yes, sir.
IGL. I think that opens a really good opportunity. So we
Yeah.
went ahead and got certified. Luckily, it's in Lexington. Everybody else has to drive or fly from everywhere else. So we've done, some Eclipse jobs. We've done some Aegis jobs, and that really opens the window to opportunity in the wintertime, when things are slow, or just to even solve problems for people. Because, if a guy tells you, hey, we've got, a construction company, we want our trucks cleaned, and then you go up there on site to check them all out, and he has all this faded equipment. And that just opens the door to more opportunities. So, like I said, just get the certifications, get the knowledge to be able to do stuff like this because, we've been doing undercoating. We've been shooting some ditch witches and, undercoatings of boats. So if you can be there to solve people's problems, that's the biggest thing you could ever do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you got a couple of comments coming in there, Jody, and then
Yep.
so yeah, as you mentioned Aegis, and Jody doesn't even know this, but I've been working in the background on a couple of things with Joel that we may be doing some stuff with Aegis here.
Joel's awesome.
And so it's an industrial setting. It's not it has nothing. See, there's another young guy in there. You got to hit that last
There
one
he
right
is.
there. It's been one of those days.
Got to keep going.
So that
Gotta
is
keep
one of
going.
those things that we're seeing is those innovations, and I think that is something that people got to look at. Is every time the automotive industry gets slow, you see the internet starting to. What do you guys do? What do you guys do to get more customers? Well, you go after a different market, and I know guys that have detailing businesses. When it gets slow, they're pressure washing driveways and swimming pools, and they're taking their equipment that they already have invested in, and they're just repurposing it for a different thing.
Yep.
So you always got to keep the hustle going. One of the things I tell people though is I'm a firm. I do not follow the mindset of, your competitors are getting up at 6 in the morning, so you got to get up at 3 and you got to go 24/7 and blah 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 blah. It's not. You don't have to do that. You have to have a life because you're working for your life and for your family and for your friends and everything you do. I don't work just to work. And so if you're not enjoying the rest of your life and you're not balancing that out, you're not an effective leader. You're not an effective business person. And that's been something we've had to learn the hard way, to allow yourself to pull back and enjoy
Yes.
yourself and do that. So I appreciate the candor and your attitude, and I'm glad that we've been able to have this conversation. If you guys do we have all his how to get a hold of you besides
Yep.
your
I
Jay's
was just gonna
Detailing
fire that up.
shop.com?
So Jayden, thanks
so
so
much,
much for
guys.
taking the time. Obviously, we could continue the conversation, but want to be respectful that Bree's bringing you Subway, and I'm getting a little
No, it's
hungry
okay.
myself, so I'm probably gonna have to go eat.
Oh
So
yeah,
how
I
do
appreciate it a
people?
bunch, guys.
Yeah, how do people connect with you?
So either it's through Facebook, my text message, phone calls. It doesn't matter. So, usually people can find a way to get a hold of me, via anything on social media. So I get a lot of phone calls in and text messages. So I might not be able to get to you right away, but as soon as I can, I will. So we do get a lot of phone calls, and I just now got a website made, and that makes it a lot easier to where people can order stuff online.
That's
down there.
awesome. So
Yeah.
check it out, guys. Man, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to meet, especially with young guys up and coming. They're excited about their business. They're excited about the industry, and it's just been great to talk to you, man. So kudos to
Great talking
you
with
and
you.
Bree for creating something amazing, and we're looking forward to seeing what you're going to do. See how you contribute in the industry and in your little world, and also out. So, Rod,
Yep,
any
that's right.
final words from the COVID master?
Yes, sir. Don't breathe on me. And that's the last time I let Jason Bruno kiss me. So,
I
Nice.
told you. I
I know.
told you. Don't
Don't
told you
kiss
not to
Jason Bruno.
spoon.
Just a thing, man. No spooning. No, tune in next week because we're going to have another young and awesome guest. We'll let you wait until we put out the stuff, but somebody you guys all know and love, and it's going to be really super awesome. And as always, we are going to be here next Thursday at the same time. And just look for us all over the place. There's a huge event coming up this October, September that Jody and I are getting ready for. So stay
Yeah.
tuned for that. A lot of big changes coming. So awesome stuff, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Appreciate you guys so much. I need to see you guys down here soon.
Yeah,
Yep, we'll
no,
come
we're
down.
gonna have to get down there. So,
That
well,
sounds good
thank
to
you
me,
so much,
guys.
man. And thank you guys for tuning in. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.
Subscribe.
And we will
Thank you, Rod
check
and Jody.
you
Yes,
same
sir. Thank
time,
you, Jaden.
same bad channel just next week. See ya.